He considered trying to probe indirectly. Perhaps he might glean something useful. But seeing how Su Jinghua had made it so clear, he immediately shut up and changed the subject. Jiang Yi understood Lu Wen's mindset. But the Fengying fighter jet wasn't a product of humanity's current technological stage. Even if he handed them the design blueprints, they wouldn't understand them. There was no way around it. The system's gifts were just too overpowered. Chapter 114, New Drug Breaks Century-Old Medical Barrier. The discussion then turned to trade cooperation. Military industry. Dragon Nation currently has no shortages. Even in wartime, the nation's robust foundational industries ensure it won't face equipment shortages. However, various other resources cannot be produced domestically and must rely on imports. Therefore, Lu Xun sought to deepen cooperation with the Kingdom of Yamen regarding oil and natural gas imports. Jiang Yi agreed without hesitation. If these resources aren't sold to Longhua, they can only be exported to other Western nations. Because apart from the Dragon Nation, most other countries are too small in scale. They simply couldn't handle such massive orders. Don't forget, Western nations are the lackeys of the Beacon Nation. Providing them with resources to develop is tantamount to indirectly cultivating enemies for oneself. So why not? This time, Jiang Yi can simply cancel all the orders originally intended for Western nations. Instead, he'll redirect them to the Dragon Nation. As for pricing, it remains unchanged. Jiang Yi continues to offer preferential terms to the Dragon Nation. Longhua, in turn, made a bold promise. It would dispatch numerous engineering teams to Yemen to further upgrade its infrastructure. In infrastructure development, Longhua has always been far ahead. After all, the title of infrastructure powerhouse wasn't earned by chance. Jiang Yi also considered another essential industry within Yemen's territory. By the way, if possible, I'd like to request Longhua's assistance in constructing several key hospitals. I also require advanced medical equipment and specialists. Healthcare. It is the foundation of a nation. Longhua leads the world in this field. To name just one example, in Yemen's capital city, Jiang Yi requires at least one world-class medical team to be stationed there. That's certainly no problem. Su Jinghua promised, I'll have Director Su spend 2 years at your facility. The Director Su he mentioned was no ordinary figure. He is the Vice President of Imperial Capital Medical University. His expertise in this field ranks among the best globally. Su Jinghua called Director Su to arrange a meeting in the near future. Meanwhile, while Su Jinghua was making the call, Jiang Yi suddenly received some news. What? The research and development succeeded? Jiang Yi was overjoyed. Yes, Your Majesty. Would you like a sample? I'll have someone deliver it to you shortly. After hundreds of rounds of non-stop testing these past few days, the efficacy has reached an astonishing 100%. Good. Have it delivered immediately. Jiang Yi's face still radiated joy, his smile nearly impossible to contain. Not long ago, Jiang Yi had established a pharmaceutical research laboratory within the Yamen territory. At the time, the director informed Jiang Yi they were developing a novel drug capable of effectively treating Alzheimer's disease. And it was nearing completion. Later, he became too busy with various matters. Jiang Yi had completely forgotten about it until he received a call just now. The laboratory sent a notification, and Jiang Yi finally remembered. Alzheimer's disease. It has a widely recognized name. Senile dementia. This condition primarily affects the elderly. According to authoritative data, there are currently over 50 million Alzheimer's patients worldwide. With the accelerating aging of the global population in recent years, we have entered a period of high incidence for Alzheimer's disease. And this number continues to grow. Currently, there is no cure for this disease worldwide. The only effective treatment is to alleviate and delay the progression of the disease through specific methods. And the effects are quite limited. It can be said that this condition has left countless top experts worldwide at a loss. Now, the Pharmaceutical Research Institute has finally developed a drug that perfectly suppresses this symptom. Just imagine. If this breakthrough were made public, what kind of seismic shock would it cause? It would likely send shockwaves through the global medical community. The new technology extracted from this breakthrough. It might even be applied to other fields, potentially solving other disease challenges. It could completely revolutionize the medical industry, ushering in a monumental advancement for the century. Su Jinghua returned after finishing his call. Seeing Jiang Yi's beaming expression, he couldn't help asking, "What's up? You look so happy." "Mr. Su, I have something to discuss with you." Jiang Yi motioned for Su Jinghua to lean closer, and Su Jinghua moved in beside him. A moment passed. Su Jinghua's eyes widened. "What? Are you serious?" "Of course." Su Jinghua's mouth twitched, speechless for a long time. He knew exactly what Alzheimer's disease was. Even he himself felt he was constantly forgetting important things. Was he about to succumb to it too? To conquer this challenge, the Dragon Nation poured astronomical sums into research and development each year. Yet after all these years, all that money poured in, has it yielded results? Results have been achieved. But the impact has been negligible. With its vast population, China is a country where this disease is highly prevalent. Addressing this issue is an urgent priority for the broader societal context. Many people feel anxious but are powerless to act. And now, Jiang Yi has actually cracked this global challenge? "Professor Su, what I mean is, we'd like to roll out this drug in Longhua first. What do you think?" Jiang Yi revealed his true objective. Dragon's country's demand for this drug would undoubtedly rank among the highest globally. If we can seal the deal, this drug will open up a massive market in Longhua, bringing Jiang Yi a mountain of gold and silver. It's possible. Su Jinghua didn't hesitate. If the drug truly worked, he alone could make the decision. But he worried, was this drug truly that miraculous? Jiang Yi, you must understand, Alzheimer's disease has plagued humanity for over 118 years since its discovery in 1906. Are you certain your drug truly works? Confirmed. If you have concerns, Mr. Su, I'll have samples shipped from China shortly for testing. The pharmaceutical research lab awarded by the system. Jiang Yi placed considerable trust in it. How powerful is this system? It can even produce revolutionary products that surpass fifth-generation aircraft. Developing a cure for Alzheimer's disease shouldn't be too difficult. Good. Since we can test it first, there's nothing to hesitate about. Even if it fails, it's only natural for a problem that's plagued humanity for over a century. Courage to try is commendable. But if it succeeds, the benefits would be unimaginable. Jiang Yi suddenly remembered something. Right, there's one more thing. I'd like the Longhua government to help promote this medicine. Longhua's global influence could rapidly establish this drug's reputation. Let the news reach the ears of countless patients who need this medicine. Should we wait? Wait until the experiments prove its efficacy before promoting it? Su Jinghua worried that if the trials failed, it would bring disgrace upon Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi, no need. I have confidence in the drug we've developed ourselves. Seeing Jiang Yi's determination, Su Jinghua stopped arguing and agreed immediately. Alright. Chapter 115, Global Laughingstock? After leaving Anlu, Jiang Yi returned to the rest area to recuperate. Su Jinghua, meanwhile, notified the Long Kingdom government to release the news about the drug. It is reported that the Kingdom of Yamen has today successfully conquered a medical challenge that has plagued humanity for over a century, developing a novel drug effective in treating Alzheimer's disease. Clinical trials will commence in Longhua in 2 days. The news broke. It first caused a sensation domestically. What? Is this real? Is Yamen Pharmaceuticals that impressive? Wait, this can't be real, right? We're talking about Alzheimer's disease here, a problem countless countries worldwide have been striving to solve. And Yamen Kingdom has cracked it? Hold on, this sounds too fake. Fake news, damn it. Those evil marketing accounts will say anything. Alzheimer's isn't a common cold or fever. It'll take at least another 50 years to conquer. Wait, this seems like an official announcement, not a marketing account. Years of being poisoned by marketing accounts. So much so that when people see news like this, their first instinct is to assume it's just another marketing stunt. But when they actually look closely, holy crap. It's an official announcement from the Dragon Kingdom. Not just casual netizens, but many professionals have also rushed to pay attention. From professors, PhDs, vice presidents, and presidents of major medical universities. Even academicians from the Long Academy in this field. Compared to the casual observers, they know better how explosive this news is, so they instinctively think it's unlikely. After all, the news explicitly states, the fact that it's about to be tested means its authenticity and effectiveness haven't been confirmed yet. The story even made its way overseas. But unlike the shock in China, the international reaction was mostly mockery. Oh my god, are you trying to make me laugh myself to death? As a doctor, I can tell you with absolute certainty that conquering Alzheimer's disease is currently impossible for humanity. This news is definitely fake. What's wrong with China that it lets the UK pull this kind of stunt? Damn it, even if such a drug could be developed, it would be our country that does it. Our medical industry leads the world. This is definitely fake news. Did the Long Kingdom's official news department lose their minds to believe such rumors? If this were true, I'd write my name backwards from now on. I might buy it for other conditions, but Alzheimer's? That's a global challenge. No way it'll be solved anytime soon. Countries are mocking it. All agree this news is undoubtedly a hoax. Dragon Nation must have been duped by Yamen. Medical experts worldwide also dismiss the matter with contempt, viewing it purely as a joke. They acknowledge Yemen's military strength. Indeed formidable. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to establish a foothold in the war-torn Middle East. But a bunch of brutes. When did they start researching pharmaceutical products? And now they have the audacity to claim they've developed a new drug that solves a global medical challenge? Do they really think bragging comes free of charge? Su Jinghua specifically sought out Jiang Yi about this. Jiang Yi, are you sure about this? Should we pull that news story? Just say it was an error in the release. If we pull it now, we can still save Jiang Yi's reputation. No need. Jiang Yi lay on the soft, comfortable bed and yawned. He saw the comments. Jiang Yi didn't give it a second thought. Did he not know what the internet was like? He'd long prepared himself for the backlash. The fiercer the criticism, the better. It only proved the publicity campaign was hitting its mark, didn't it? Su Jinghua was momentarily at a loss for words. He couldn't help but admire Jiang Yi's audacity. Once he set his mind on something, not even 10 oxen could pull him back. He hadn't misjudged Jiang Yi. Fine, let them rant. If they must, we'll take the heat with you. Ha! As someone who'd been through it all, what storms hadn't he weathered? Su Jinghua couldn't care less. That same night, in the early hours, Jiang Yi opened the game again and a notification appeared on the interface. Researchers from Yamen had urgently airlifted the new drug they developed. Jiang Yi clicked to accept the delivery in the email. He then inspected it in the warehouse. It was a black pill that looked no different from an ordinary medication. At first glance, it seemed quite ordinary. Jiang Yi used his materialization ability, conjuring a pill in his hand. A faint herbal fragrance wafted up to his nose, with no other odors present. Jiang Yi sought out the head of research. Your Majesty, we've added a special ingredient to this medicine. After taking it for one full course of treatment, patients can achieve a complete recovery. How long is one course of treatment? About a week. Jiang Yi did the math. He would be staying in the Dragon Kingdom for about a week, which would allow him to witness the experiment. The next day, Jiang Yi contacted Su Jinghua early and handed him the new medication. Accompanying him were Lu Jin, Zhao Shuang, along with several other high-ranking officials. They were all there to observe. On my end, I've already identified 7 Alzheimer's patients willing to participate in the trial. If you see no issues, we can proceed with the experiment. All right. Jiang Yi suddenly interjected, oh, and it'd be best to stream it live. That way, others can witness the drug's effects unfold in real time. Su Jinghua immediately dispatched staff to prepare. At 8:20 a.m. that day, the Longhua government issued an official announcement, claiming the drug trial had commenced, with a 24-hour live broadcast to observe patient changes. The medical records of the 7 patients, including authoritative examinations and other details, were also displayed in the live stream room. As soon as the broadcast started, countless people flooded in to join the spectacle. This is for real? I thought it was a joke. They actually set up an experiment? Could this be real? It's fake. Doomed to fail. Probably just for attention. They call it a century-old problem. Do you really think a country like Yemen, with zero medical infrastructure, could develop a solution overnight? True. It's like expecting Odibio to develop an aircraft carrier overnight. Ha! Boring. I'll admit the Kingdom of Yemen does well in other areas, but they're desperate for attention this time, aren't they? Let's just wait and see. Hopefully they won't embarrass themselves internationally. Domestically, no one has high hopes. As for the international community? Don't even think about it, it'll be a storm of criticism. Still, major global pharmaceutical companies will still send teams to collect data as a sign of respect. This whole affair has the US and Israel chuckling. They had tried every trick in the book to tarnish Jiang Yi's reputation. Instead, they ended up shooting themselves in the foot, becoming a global laughingstock. Though this matter has nothing to do with them whatsoever. But for them? It was a sweet victory. Want to develop a new drug for Alzheimer's? You might as well dream about it. The Lighthouse Nation pours hundreds of billions annually into pharmaceutical R&D. A significant portion of that goes toward Alzheimer's research. And the result? Not a single step forward. Even with the world's top medical teams, they can't do it. Some backwater like Yemen? Pure delusion. Chapter 116, Public Opinion Flip. Unbelievable. Lu Chen glared at the online troll's comments, his liver aching with rage. What's wrong with these people? What does it have to do with them? Developing this new drug is a contribution to all of humanity. What's there to criticize? Jiang Yi replied calmly. It's perfectly normal. You know how the internet is all the same. Most of these people would show a completely different face in real life. The internet provides a natural barrier. It shields far too many people. It also gives rise to countless idiots. Who knows how many keyboard warriors exist solely because of the internet's protective mechanisms? If we change things up, made all online posts real name verified, so others could see your actual information. Jiang Yi doesn't claim it would eliminate them entirely, but overnight, the number of online trolls would drop by at least 80%. This world is just that real. Alright, ignore it. If there's nothing else, we can start testing. Alright. Lu Wen had his people get things ready to ensure the authenticity of this experiment and shut those trolls up. Jiang Yi also had several lie detectors arranged for the test subjects. The experiment began. Several elderly individuals with vacant, lifeless eyes appeared on camera. Testing staff asked them simple questions. But the elderly individuals either remained blank-faced, or simply failed to comprehend what the host was saying. Evidence was everywhere. These seniors were classic Alzheimer's patients, likely in a severe late-stage condition. It seemed they were truly quite ill. That's how Alzheimer's is. My grandfather has it too. He doesn't even recognize family members anymore and often says things that make no sense. We're all very worried about him. If this treatment developed by Yemen Kingdom is real, that would be wonderful, but it's probably not very likely. My second uncle has the same condition. He doesn't even know his own name anymore. The only comfort is that he still recognizes my aunt. The power of love is truly remarkable. Oh my god, will I end up like this when I'm old? Please no. That's terrifying, forgetting your own name, not knowing anything, your mind a complete void? What's the point of living then? It'd be worse than death. Thank goodness, given my reckless lifestyle back in my youth, I probably won't live to old age anyway. At least I'll never have to face this disease. Ha, the guy above really hit the nail on the head. Wait, conducting drug trials on these poor elderly without their consent, is that even legal? For the government to do this? Does Longhua really have any regard for human rights? And just as netizens were passionately debating Alzheimer's disease across the internet, a sudden voice emerged. This instantly resonated with countless people. Yes. Conducting drug trials on human subjects is inherently impermissible. It violates international law. It also violates basic human ethics. Therefore, internationally, such projects are generally conducted using animals as substitutes. For instance, monkeys, mice, and the like. What Longwei is doing is nothing short of a challenge to human rights and a grave violation of international law. In an instant, the internet erupted with condemnation. Honestly, I hadn't even noticed until someone pointed it out that Dragon Nation would openly commit such an utterly immoral act. Typical Dragon Nation. I can't fathom a country doing something like this. Do you even have a shred of humanity left? This is a desecration of human life, a desecration of life itself. God will not forgive you. You people deserve to burn in hell. The torrent of condemnation was already unstoppable. Su Jinghua shook his head, sensing this matter was far from simple. Who do you think is orchestrating this? Zhao Shang looked around at the crowd. Needless to say, it must be those damned bastards again. No one else would dare oppose us like this. Lu Wen was boiling with rage. What made them so infuriating was that they were like maggots, constantly scheming to disgust you. The Lighthouse Nation. A look of excitement flashed across his face. This time, they were determined to brand the Dragon Kingdom and the Yamen Kingdom as inhumane. They have no idea how the Dragon Nation and the Yamen Kingdom would clear their names. Continue writing the news, sensationalize this point, make sure the Dragon Nation and the Yamen Kingdom rot even more thoroughly. Minister of the Lighthouse Nation's News Department. Orders issued. Thereafter, the entire official news department of the Lighthouse Nation mobilized. He was determined to make Dragon Nation and Yamen Kingdom despised by the entire world. To brand them as public enemies. He refused to believe that under such a hostile media environment, how they could possibly continue to develop. They had been desperately searching for ways to deal with the Dragon Nation and the Yamen Kingdom. All attempts have failed. Little did they expect the other side would backfire, exposing their own weaknesses. This was hardly their fault. During the live experiment, the host remained utterly unmoved by the flood of abuse filling the screen. Suddenly, he pulled out a tablet from his hand. He then stated, "Everyone, these elderly participants voluntarily agreed to this experiment while fully conscious. This was entirely their choice, no coercion was involved whatsoever. Alzheimer's disease, in fact, is not persistent for most people. For many, it comes in waves. At times, they remain lucid, their minds functioning normally like anyone else's. Only when the disease flares up do they appear senile." In the video, the elderly participants undergoing testing were all in a lucid state. They shared their thoughts one by one. Essentially, they felt that at their advanced age, being able to participate in the national testing program was a way to contribute to the country, and they considered it an honor. As for the risks, they were certainly aware that there might be side effects. But for the sake of national progress, for the sake of completing this mission, one that might save countless Alzheimer's patients from suffering, they resolutely chose to participate in the experiment. They personally signed the consent forms. And the Dragon Nation did not shortchange them. It pledged that should any adverse effects occur, with astronomical compensation. The moment the video surfaced, the international internet erupted in shock. Holy crap? Did we misjudge Longhua? Is it too late to take back what I just said? These elders are heroes. Yeah, maybe they figured at their age, doing something for the motherland was the least they could do. Exactly. Plus, as Alzheimer's suffers, they surely hope to spare others from their pain. This is truly sacrificing their lives for a noble cause. Tears welling up, salute to the heroes. My heart feels warm. If effective treatments for Alzheimer's are developed in the future, we must never forget the contributions made by these elderly gentlemen. Online sentiment flipped instantly. Lu Wen couldn't help but marvel at the comments. His astonished gaze fell upon Zhang Yi. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Chapter 117, Experiment Succeeds, Ball Lifting Stuns. As the saying goes, when the devil gains an inch, the sage gains a foot. Even during the initial selection phase of the experiment, Zhang Yi had specifically emphasized this point. He wouldn't give other nations any openings to exploit. Zhang Yi knew all too well the nature of propaganda warfare. He knew they would stop at nothing to seize any opening, so he had guarded against them from the very start. Ha! Su Jinghua patted Lu Tang on the shoulder and said, "You really need to learn from Zhang Yi on this point. He considers every angle before doing anything. If it weren't for Zhang Yi, we'd have had a tough time escaping the public scrutiny this time." Lu Wen scratched his head sheepishly. Mr. Su is right. He looked up at Zhang Yi, genuinely impressed. Zhang Yi wasn't that old. He was about 20 years younger than him. By all accounts, he belonged to the generation of his children. Yet his approach to work was so seasoned. It was something he'd never seen in any of his peers. Suddenly, it dawned on him. Zhang Yi's ability to make a mark in a place like Zhengdong was no accident. What? The minister of the Lighthouse Nation's news department had barely had time to gloat before his smile froze. His expression turned more painful than crying. They had signed contracts with the test subjects beforehand, and evidence showed all had voluntarily participated in the drug trials. No coercion or other issues existed. Enough. He didn't want to hear any more. Otherwise, he'd vomit blood. I don't want to hear it. You may leave first. The little secretary delivering the report. Her face was full of grievance. This was the first time he'd ever seen the minister of the Lighthouse Nation's news department lose his temper so badly. Right. The secretary had barely left when she was called back. The minister took a deep breath, then forced himself to sound calm. So what if those people volunteered for the experiment? I refuse to believe their drug will be effective. Keep pushing this narrative. Draft the article immediately. Once the trial concludes and the drug is declared a failure, flood the media with this story. I'll make sure they can't hold their heads up. Separate issues. Clearing this matter isn't important. What matters is that, from his perspective, Yaman's drug trial is destined to fail. The problem circles back to square one. They could use this to build momentum, accusing Yaman of deceiving the world and resorting to any means for attention. This would generate additional public pressure. All right. After the secretary left, the head of the news department met with someone. The person wore a white lab coat and gold-rimmed glasses, looking quite refined. How about it? We discussed it through the night and concluded their success rate is virtually zero. The speaker was no ordinary person. His credentials: a medical research expert from the United States, a Harvard graduate, and a top-tier medical doctorate. Current work: he serves directly for the United States. Globally speaking, he is among the foremost decision-makers and most authoritative figures in this field. The team he leads is among the nation's premier medical teams. And the Beacon Nation itself dominates the global medical field. Globally, teams surpassing theirs can be counted on one hand. That's good. Upon hearing this news, the Minister of Information became even more certain that this joint experiment between Dragon Nation and Yaman could not possibly succeed. His earlier anger dissipated. His mood improved considerably. The experiment itself made global headlines, drawing billions of viewers worldwide. This latest development only amplified the media frenzy. The number of viewers actually grew even larger. No matter when you entered the live stream, even in the dead of night, countless people were watching. On the first day of the experiment, none of the elderly participants showed any noticeable effects after taking the medication. Nor did the second day. By the third day, while everyone appeared more vibrant than before, the overall change remained minimal. This left Zhao Shang and his team feeling anxious and helpless. 3 days had passed, nearly halfway through the experiment. If this continued, would the drug truly take effect? The mocking voices grew louder. Even those who had initially supported Jiang Yi gradually fell silent. The facts proved a problem humanity hadn't conquered in a century. Couldn't possibly be solved overnight by the kingdom of Yaman. Compounded by covert manipulation from the Lighthouse Nation. The global attitude became even more dismissive, convinced the experiment was bound to fail. Yet Jiang Yi remained remarkably composed, seemingly unconcerned. Under these circumstances, before they knew it, 6 days had passed and the final day arrived. Inside the laboratory, several elderly subjects awoke one after another from their slumber. To their astonishment, the world before them had become crystal clear, and their mental faculties had sharpened considerably. In disbelief, they looked down at their own hands. It worked? Holy crap? No way? Did you notice? It feels like things changed a lot today. Their eyes clearly looked different, more vibrant and powerful. By the 6th day, everyone's condition had undergone a massive, visibly noticeable transformation. The entire world, countless people watching the livestream, was in an uproar. Is it really over? When Zhao Shang woke up this morning and heard the news, he was incredibly excited. Not exactly, but judging by their condition, they are indeed much better than before. A subordinate reported. Hurry, take me there to see for myself. Zhao Shang hurriedly dressed and rushed straight to the scene, where he met Jiang Yi. Su Jinghua and Lu Chen also arrived shortly after. Excellent. Su Jinghua summoned the lead tester responsible for this round and conducted a thorough inspection of their current status. In full view of the global online audience, various instruments were deployed one after another, conducting a comprehensive analysis on the 7 elderly participants. The final test results left the medical experts conducting the trial utterly stunned. The glutamate activity in the elderly participants' brain neurons was at least 3 times higher than before. Acetylcholine levels had effectively increased, and synaptic transmission within the brain had also significantly improved. Mind-blowing. His hand trembled as he held the report. As the report was released, authorities worldwide watching the livestream, university professors, PhDs, masters, and others, froze in front of their screens. As authorities in their field, they knew exactly what these test results signified. Increased glutamate activity, elevated acetylcholine levels, and enhanced synaptic transmission in the brain. These are all signs of a complete cure for Alzheimer's disease. Under the effects of this drug developed by Yaman Kingdom, several patients' Alzheimer's disease had truly been cured so effortlessly? Yes. When this result was announced, they stood before the cameras, questioning their existence, questioning themselves, questioning the very world around them. What? Someone actually developed a drug that can effectively cure Alzheimer's patients? Wang Difu? As a neurologist with over 30 years of experience, I feel like my worldview is crumbling. Who on earth are the medical team from Yaman Kingdom? This moment, the ball is raised in awe. Chapter 118, A Grand Spring and Autumn Dream. Lighthouse Nation. New Brunswick City. A majestic office building stands in the city. This building is no ordinary structure. It is the world-renowned headquarters of Johnson Pharmaceutical Group Company, Limited. Johnson Group. Founded in 1886, it stands as one of the world's most comprehensive and geographically extensive healthcare enterprises, boasting a rich historical legacy and extensive industry expertise. In the pharmaceutical sector, it stands as the leading conglomerate among global pharmaceutical companies. Its market presence spans the globe, covering numerous countries. Simultaneously, it is also a Fortune Global 500 company. It enjoys the reputation as the world's top pharmaceutical company. With annual revenues reaching hundreds of billions of dollars, it consistently outperforms any other group in its category. At this moment, on the top floor of the building, all Johnson & Johnson executives gathered for a specific matter. Seated at the head of the conference room was a man wearing sunglasses. Gentlemen, I trust you are all aware of the successful experimental results from Longwa. This man is named Odell, chairman of Johnson Group. He holds over 30% of Johnson Group's shares. Yes, chairman. We've reviewed it. It's astonishing that the Kingdom of Yaman has actually developed this new drug. Truly incredible. General Manager Lawrence's face was etched with shock. This live broadcast revealing the results. Almost all the top executives watched it. But initially, they were just there for the spectacle. They wanted to see this turn into a laughingstock. How will the Dragon Kingdom and the Yaman Kingdom resolve this? The outcome stunned them. Yemen had actually succeeded in developing it. As a pharmaceutical conglomerate founded nearly 2 centuries ago, a leading enterprise. They knew what this signified. It meant the medical world would be turned upside down. It meant humanity had taken a historic stride forward in healthcare. Yes, that's precisely why I've gathered you all here today to discuss how we should proceed with this matter. Oder was utterly perplexed. As the world's largest pharmaceutical company, if Jiang Yi succeeds in launching this new drug, it would deal a massive blow to them. Moreover, there's one thing that could be fatal for Johnson Group. Damn it, if only that bastard had drowned at sea. Then none of this would have happened. Lawrence's eyes burned with hatred. Sigh. Now, the new drug we successfully developed half a month ago, one that can temporarily suppress Alzheimer's, won't stand a chance against him in the market. This is truly heartbreaking. Yes. In recent years, with the arrival of global aging, the number of Alzheimer's patients worldwide has been steadily increasing. Johnson Pharmaceuticals recognize this as a massive market opportunity. Therefore, Johnson Group spared no expense in investing heavily to develop drugs that can effectively alleviate this condition. Note, alleviate. Not cure. In their view, current medical technology is incapable of developing a complete cure for Alzheimer's disease. If Jiang Yi were to find out, he'd be delighted. He'd be walking on eggshells even in his dreams. And just half a month ago, they had spent a fortune to finally develop a new drug, which they had planned to release soon. Before the launch, all executives were fantasizing about how it would surely make a global splash, bringing Johnson Group immense prestige. It was expected to generate massive profits for the company. But then a spoiler emerged out of nowhere. That was Jiang Yi. Then came the subsequent events. Our new drug requires long-term administration, with effects only becoming noticeable after at least 3 months of use. Patients must then rely on the medication for the rest of their lives to maintain its therapeutic benefits, which are less than 40% effective. It simply cannot compete with his new drug. Now, the entire company is in a state of panic over this issue. Their drug is being thoroughly outclassed by Jiang Yi's. Meanwhile, what happened at the launch event? Jiang Yi's drug is a global sensation, flying off the shelves worldwide. Theirs? Completely ignored. If the efficacy were only marginally inferior, they could still use various marketing tactics to maintain their edge. But the problem is, it's far inferior. Any patient with half a brain would choose the other drug. Now, only 2 choices lay before them. One is to go head-to-head with Jiang Yi and launch their new drug simultaneously. In that case, they would be thoroughly beaten in the market by Jiang Yi, risking the destruction of their century-old pharmaceutical group's reputation. The second is to abandon their drug. This would mean throwing away all the massive research funds, energy, manpower, and resources wasted during development. Either outcome. Neither option was palatable. Here's what we'll do. Lawrence, thinking on his feet, suddenly spoke up. All eyes turned to him. Lawrence continued, our Johnson Group is a leading enterprise in this field, a Fortune 500 company. We can choose to partner with them. When the drug is released, we'll act as the distributor and take a cut. If they refuse, we'll unite with other countries to boycott them and make sure they don't have an easy time either. Silence fell over the group. After pondering for a moment, they all agreed that Lawrence's plan was sound. Johnson Group held considerable global influence, especially since they had connections with the military of the Lighthouse Nation. For matters concerning the Lighthouse Nation's interests, they would likely cooperate fully. Sanctioning Jiang Yi would pose no difficulty. Beside Lawrence, a gray-haired old man in black leather shoes suddenly raised his hand to speak. Don't forget, find a way to extract the formula and development process for this new drug from them. Then we can produce it ourselves later. All the senior officials present lit up. That hits the nail on the head. Once we secure the formula, their losses will be insignificant. Johnson Group could leverage its reputation and heritage. Steal the spotlight. Slightly modify Jiang Yi's medicine into their own product. The entire group was suddenly caught up in a pipe dream. News of the successful experiment. Su Jinghua, Zhao Sheng, Lu Chen, and others were thrilled. Jiang Yi, however, remained calm. The treatment course lasted 1 week. When everyone awoke tomorrow, the elderly gentleman's conditions would only improve. Even better? The group was even more astonished and decided to wait until the next day to see. As for the live stream, it had already exploded with excitement. The bullet comments never stopped. The next day, the outcome matched Jiang Yi's prediction exactly. The elderly individual showed remarkable improvement in vitality and overall condition compared to before taking the medication. Each one radiated vitality. They were like different people. When asked questions, they answered fluently and with remarkable clarity. Their reactions were sharper than those of many young men. The entire internet was utterly stunned. Major pharmaceutical companies, healthcare groups, and medical schools were collectively